What is going on, guys? Back with another video. So I've seen recently that Pixel Blade has blown the flip up out of proportion lately, and it's absolutely insane. Okay, keep in mind this game used to be at 1.9k on average. Now we are at 18,000 players. Like, that is insane. I am so surprised that I got to this much, but I'm also happy because this game does deserve this kind of recognition considering all the effort like put into it. Now we have 18,000 players, right? So I figured it would be a good idea to do a newbie's guide, a beginner's guide for everyone who's on the newer side of Pixel Blade, which is pretty much everyone. So in this video, we're gonna go through everything, all the basics down to the details of dodging, dashing, like elements, spirits, like what spirits do, to the weapons and rings, and so on. If this video helps you out, then be sure to give your boy a like and a subscribe, because you know, like, we already reached 2k, so you know the next goal is going to be 3k subscribers. So sub up, people. It'll mean a lot to me. Alright, let's get into this video. So coming in at number 1, we're going to talk about the basics of dodging and dashing. Right, I don't know what it is on the Xbox or the mobile, but I'm gonna speak on computer terms. If you press Q when you're on the ground, you are able to dodge. If you press Q while you're in the air, you do your dashes. And you have 3 in total as the max, if you see at the bottom right of your screen here. Dashing and dodging takes away your stamina bar. So if you can see, if you waste it, this little yellow bar right here, it goes down. Now, a good way to use your dashes and dodges is by a term called spacing. And what I mean by that is, say for example, I want to get to the other side, but this is what happens if I don't do spacing with my dashes, and I'm just pressing it all at once. I get up to the potion side. If I were to add spacing to my dashes, it would look like that. As you can see, we get a lot further to where we were if we didn't do spacing. And how you do spacing is by, at the end of every dash, make sure you at least touch the floor so you can get another jump and dash in to get that extra spacing. And obviously you're not going to be standing still while you're dodging and dashing, you're going to be moving around too. So obviously you'll be getting a lot more space. Look at that, I got even further than what I did when I was moving around. Make sure you always space your dashes to get the most out of them, because dashing and dodging is probably the most important thing. That's why I'm talking about it first. To show you dodging, I'm just going to go into a quick game where there's enemies that attack you. Before we go into the dodging aspect, I also want to talk about parrying. Parrying is what you can use to guard yourself from the enemy to deal extra damage. When you parry, you do like a double bonus damage to them. So I'll show that as we go along. So here's dodging. So whenever you see this little exclamation mark, yellow means they see you. If there's no exclamation mark, they just stand still, they don't see you. When they attack you, there is a red exclamation mark shown above the head, which is an indicator that tells you that, oh, he's going to attack me. And what you can do with that is, as you see the red indicator, you dodge out the way by pressing dodge, which is the ground move. So I'll show that as an example. There you go, and you won't get hit. Probably the easiest way to dodge out of a normal enemy's attack, by looking at that indicator on top of their head. Okay, now we'll go into parrying. It goes the exact same way, but you have to be more aware of their animation. So this is probably the easiest way to look if they're going to hit you, because they swing the arm up into the air and they like hug you basically. As soon as they're about to hug you, you do your little parry. And there you go, you get a little parry done. It's a lot harder than it looks. I used to struggle with parrying all the time back then. But eventually, when you play enough, you'll get used to it. And I'll show you how much damage if they space out a little bit. So my normal weapon does 364 damage. Now if I parry them, I do 483 damage. So it's like a... Let's get elemental circle. I'll talk about that in just a moment. It gives you a 1.5 damage like multiplier when you parry them, and it stuns them at the same time, which is something you want to be obviously aware of. It's not forever, it's for a brief moment, so make the most of it while you do hit your vulnerability parries. And yeah, that's it for dodging, dashing, and parry. In number 2 is the elements. So for elements, you have frost, poison, and fire. Frost is the worst, but it slows them down. Poison does more damage than frost, but it doesn't offer any like special effects. For fire is the best elemental. I always glaze it in my videos because I love it so much, and it deals a lot of damage, way more in comparison to frost and poison. So frost and poison does 2 ticks of damage, fire does 3, and fire also bypasses armor, like enemy armor, which is absolutely insane. So what we'll talk about now is the elemental circle, which is this little banner right here. And if you press tab on your screen, you see upgrades. This is all your upgrades that show up when you progress throughout the game. It tells you what things you're going to choose and what like elements. The max is number 4, by the way. But right now we've got elemental circle 1. What elemental circle does is it gives you the elemental damage of every single element in the game. So frost, poison, fire, and it takes a random element damage whenever you get close to an enemy. So you see this aura around? There we go. Look at that. So this aura, if enemies get close to it, they get taken damage. So I'll show it with these archers down over there. Now if I get close to them, they just die like that. That just happened to be poison that time, but it could be randomized. So if I let these guys, there you go. That time it was fire. That time it was fire. When you level up an elemental circle, I believe all it does, it ticks faster. So damage ticks in this game just go a lot quicker, and I believe it does more damage too, which is obviously overall better. But yeah, that's it for elements. And now what we'll get into now is spirits. So what you have with spirits are these two little balls behind me. You see these little yellow orbs? Those are called spirit orbs, or soul. Spirit souls or spirit orbs. Both are pretty much the same. So as you can see on the bottom of your screen, you have these 2 little like white dots. Those indicate that you have 2 spirit orbs. We have another orb as well called the boss orb, but we'll get into that later because I'm not at the boss wave yet. But we have 3 different upgrades that you can do with your spirit orbs, and which are lifesteal, rage spirits, and spirit capacity. I'll show that here. So what lifesteal does is if you kill an enemy, there's a chance they drop a spirit orb. So let's kill one of these guys. Hopefully they drop one. Okay, see that? That's a spirit orb. And if you take it, well, I didn't have any damage done to me. When you take it, it goes into your spirit capacity and you heal up from it a little bit. But if you had lifesteal, it would obviously heal you a lot more. By the way, if you take them when you're already full, it doesn't really do anything. Apart from if you're trying to heal, of course. Rage spirits is another upgrade. The more spirits you have with rage spirits as an upgrade, the more damage you do. If you have no spirits and you have the rage spirit upgrade, you won't do any damage. And spirit capacity, it's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. The more you upgrade it, the more spirits you're able to hold. Look at that, rage spirits, perfect. The thing about spirits is the more spirits you have, the more faster you are, and that speed is very, very important while you're in this game. I can't stress that enough. You got to be fast when you're in this game, otherwise you are cooked. And look, now that I have rage spirits at level 1, this is the yellow bar that shows up, that little yellow damage that just showed up. That tells you your spirit damage. Now moving into what I was gonna get into later, which is now the boss spirits, which is this guy called John right here. And every 3 levels you will have a boss that shows up, so be prepared for that. Now that I killed him, yes, that was really quick. Oh, life spirit. Now you see this little red orb that shows up? That is called a boss orb, or boss spirit, you should say. And so a boss spirit is the equivalent to, I believe, 2 spirit orbs. So you get double the speed of what you would get if you had 2 normal spirit orbs. If you have a high spirit capacity and you have a lot of spirit orbs, and if you had a boss orb within that group, there's a higher chance of you losing your basic spirit orbs than your boss spirit orb, because your boss spirit orb has more health than the little ones. Before we move on to the next one, I just want to show you guys how much you heal if you had a lifesteal. So keep in mind, if you had no lifesteal, you'd be healing by 7 HP, right? But if I get hit a little bit, if I get a little hurt, alright, yeah, that's about enough. Alright, so I'm at 600 HP, right? If I were to kill somebody on orb, I heal by 46. So imagine how much that would be if you had it at level 2 or level 3, which is a lot. So now that we're back in the lobby, I'm just going to assume that you don't have any of these crazy items yet, but I will talk into it later. So say for example, if you had like, I don't know, you had this wooden sword, and there are 3 different types of speeds that the weapons do. So normal swords like these are fast attack rate. So you'll be hitting twice really quick. Let me lower my volume. Now, if I were to have, say for example, a longsword, it would be a lot slower. But for the sake, it will be a lot slower for the sake of a longer attack range. So I'll be able to hit 3 at a time, or 4 at a time even. But if I had the little sword, I'd be hitting probably 2 at a time. So long swords and hammers, which are these guys. Let's use this one actually. This guy right here, it's very slow and heavy. Does more damage, but for a lower swing rate. And then we have the scythes, which are overall the medium attack rate, I should say. So it hits up to 3 targets if you hit it correctly. Yep. It hits up to 3 targets if you hit them right. Slower than the light weapons, faster than the heavy weapons. So it's right in the middle. Different weapons have different abilities. So for example, if I were to use the ice spear, for example, the ice spear has its own ability, which rains giant snow from the sky, or hailstorms, I should say, which is pretty cool, right? And every single different weapon has a different ability, but I won't get into that because I want you guys to enjoy the mystery of finding out what this ability is as you play along. So play the flipping game. I'm not gonna go through every single one. And so as we're still on the spears, for spears you can't parry, unlike any other weapon where you can. Spears are the only weapon where you are able to not be at the risk of parrying, rather instead you'll always get its parry potency for the sake of not being able to dodge out of their attacks as your parry, but at a cost of not having to risk your life or HP on the line. Whereas if I had like a sword, I need the enemy to hit me first. And an indicator to show that you're parrying, by the way, is this little white circle that appears whenever you're parrying. So be aware of that. Make sure when you parry, you don't just click like that instantly. You gotta make sure you actually hold it down so you have that longer window of parrying the enemy's attacks. But yeah, that is all for the weapons. And now we'll get into the armor. Depending on your build, if you want to be a tank, if you want to be someone who uses the ability a lot, or if you want to just run around quickly, it depends. If you want to be quick and agile, you want to get an armor that has speed. So for example, I have this ninja armor. It has 22 speed for the cost of lower HP. If I were to, for example, have a heavy armor, this armor would have 906. It would be a different level for you guys. This would be like the base. This is the base level 1 armor, the little white writing. You would have less speed but more HP. But I would say 17, so 18 and below is a slow speed that you don't want. 16 to 18 is your slower movement speed. But if you had, for example, if you had like 19 to 20, it would be considered a medium pace. 21 and upwards, that would be considered fast movement speed. The thing about max energy, which is basically your yellow bar, this little bar right here that you waste, it's your stamina bar. So this is my Void Reaper armor. I have 700 HP, I'm at a medium speed, but I got a lot of energy, which is overall like a jack of all trades, which is pretty much all I need. If I were to look at these armors, for example, if I were to go through, if you are like new to the game and you only have these 3 armors, I would suggest you go for a chainmail armor, because chainmail armor, it gives you more speed and quite a decent amount of health. I also want to mention that if you were to get a legendary armor, legendary armors have their own passive abilities, and I talked about that in another video, so if you want to go check that out, you can. And now moving on to rings and raids, right? So this is where I would say the fun part comes in. So because rings are down here, I think you'll have a level requirement. So if you ain't there yet, go level up, bro. Go level up, because you'll need to level up. All right, so in the ring section, rings have different stat buffs according to their respective rights, and they have different starting banners. What you want to be most considerate of is their stat buffs and their quality. It goes up to common, rare, epic, and legendary. What quality does to a stat buff is it makes it better. So for example, this is a heirloom 116 dragon ring, right? It has a 45.6 flame. Now, if I compared it to my 111 dragon ring, it would be 43.9. So as you can see, quality really affects like a ring, and different rings have different abilities. So if I were to pick a power ring. These two rings, by the way, are one of the best rings in the game. Power ring is the best ring in the game because it has a special ability called ability cooldown. Frost ring right here also has that. So if you want to get something that buffs your abilities, your weapons abilities, go for a polar ring or go for a power ring. And to get rings, you would have to do raids, and raids are here. If you go press play at the bottom and you click this little icon right here, I believe there's a level requirement. I think it's 8 or something, unless they changed it. If you're new, then hate to break it to you, man, but you gotta hope somebody carries you for your raids, because raids get harder as they progress, and it's from levels 1 to 50. Raids are the most ideal way to get rings, because every time you play, there's a chance that it drops you a ring throughout every level. Say for example, if you did happen to be waves 1 to 50, you can come over here to the quest board, and if you click over to the trophies and you scroll all the way down, you'll be able to have a whopping 8 super rings, right? Just by completing a raid defense fully. If you complete to wave 30, you'll get 3. If you complete to wave 50, you'll get 5. These little 2 rings right here, I don't have any at the moment because I literally used them all. Common rings are 100 coins to unveil, which you gotta like, it will give you a ring ranging from common to legendary. Don't be worried if you have this ring, because you can get a legendary. I think I got one of these rings from a common ring, which is absolutely insane. From a super ring, which is this purple one right here, you can get from epic to legendary, which is obviously way better, and your chances of getting a legendary ring are way better as well. Rings also cost money to upgrade, right? So say for example, if I wanted to upgrade this enchanted epic polar ring, I would refine it. It would cost me 300 stardust, and I have 9,000. If I were to upgrade the quality of the ring, it would go up by 67, and the ability cooldown will go lower to 20%, which is really good. And as you can see, it goes up all the way to the top. And this little question mark right here, this is another stat buff that is entirely random according to whatever the rings like enchantment buffs are. And what you can do by checking, I believe there is a picture. I will show it up here. Like this picture will just tell you every single thing that a ring has. If you want to pause here, you can go free, feel free to check it out. For those that don't want to check it out, so say for example, this stat buff before was a question mark and it gave me damage. But if I check onto the other dragon ring, it says energy recovery. So it gives you like 3 potential stat buffs according to that ring. It costs stardust to upgrade. How you get stardust is by unveiling your rings and scrapping your rings. So if I were to melt this ring for stardust in attempts to upgrade another ring, so if I wanted to scrap this and then I go over here and I'm like, hey, I want to upgrade this ring, I'll upgrade that with the expense of smelting another ring. And yeah, I think that about wraps rings, I believe. And last but certainly not least, we have potions. You have to be at level 5 to get your potions, so make sure you level up. Click over to this backpack icon while you're in the potion stand. It will give you the potions that you can like equip. So for example, if I wanted to equip the health flask, right, I would press equip, and it tells me to select the slot, which is these 2 right here. So I want to swap the godly potion for the health potion, so I'll just click the godly potion slot, and there you go, it would swap the health flask. And I'm like, and say for example, I don't want the dragon flask, I want to get the godly potion instead. So I will swap over to the dragon flask, the godly potion, selecting this slot, and that's how you equip your potions. If I were to recommend, I suggest you get godly potions and health potions. The way to get godly potions without using Robux is by just joining in the game daily. I was literally able to get joining in the game daily and picking your codes. I think they might have expired by now though, but I have 80 from codes and weeklies. If you were to join daily, you literally get so much things. So for example, you'll get 9 godly potions and a high tier legendary chest, which is a guaranteed legendary, and you get a bunch of coins as well, but that's something I shouldn't really talk about. We're coming near to the end of the video, but I will say a good way to get legendary like weapons is by going through the shop, which is right here. If you go into the daily shop, you'll be able to get yourself a legendary. If Pixel Blade RNG loves you enough, you will get yourself a legendary weapon in here, or maybe even an armor. It gives you literally anything apart from the voltage. And here in the inventory section, well, the chest section I should say, make sure you always buy from like from epics, and always claim your daily chests. You're gonna want to do that, and I'm gonna buy that now actually. But as I was saying, these daily chests correlate to the world that you are currently on. I got a samurai chest right now because I am at the latest world, which is world 3. If you were at grasslands, this chest right here from the daily chests would have been a godly chest. And now moving on to codes, which are, I would say, the most important things, because codes give you like crazy stuff if you are able to redeem them inside. So how you get the codes though, you got to make sure you join the Roblox group, and you got to make sure you follow the devs, so Fudge and Com. I'll give a screenshot of all the codes that we have that you are able to redeem still. So if you want to pause the video to redeem them all, you can. And that will be all for today. If this video was beneficial to you guys in any sort of way, then, you know, like and subscribe. I thank you guys so much for helping me hit 2K subscribers. It really means a lot, and I appreciate it. So, you know, we're already going to 3K. Like, you already know where we're headed. Before we leave, before we end things off here, I want to say, I'm not sure when, but soon, praying for next update, I will get my own creator code. And right now, if you click into the shop and click the samurai bundle up here, it tells you enter creator code. Sadly, at the moment right now, my name is still in red. But when my creator code comes out, it will go green. So, hey, if it does come out, it'd mean a lot if you guys just put my name in the creator code. Because, you know, whatever you buy, I get like a 5% share of that, which is pretty crazy. So if you want to help your boy out, feel free. But in the meantime, people, I will see y'all in a bit. God bless you guys, and if you made it this far, I thank you so much for watching. Honestly, I'll see y'all in a bit. Peace.